Hello and welcome to Vibes. I'm your host Jojolicious and I'm excited about this topic this week. I want us to explore the power of practical healthy boundaries. Uh, I hope that as we dive into this empowering topic today, we will all have more insights to guide us on this journey called life. So, boundaries are very important aspect of our life and our well-being. Actually, without boundaries, will be an emotional roller coaster and people will take us for granted more often. So for me, boundaries is like in lands or between countries. There are reasons why nations have boundaries and why you cross those boundaries without following the laid down policies and procedures is termed a legal entry. So it is with our lives. Without boundaries, anyone and everyone can access us, abuse, maltreat, steal, illegally lay a claim on us, our lives and our values. So boundaries is important. It's very important to have boundaries. So I feel like each and every one of us need to set healthy boundaries, you know, by setting out, like in countries, policies and procedures by which you can be assessed and dealt with. I hope this is not sounding very academic, but I'm trying to let you know that setting boundaries is not strange in both your personal life as it is not strange in governance or in government. When you have boundaries, it helps you to protect, healthy boundaries. It helps you to protect your time, your energy, your emotions, your personal space. When you establish healthy boundaries, you create healthier relationships, healthier friendships, and this will help you reduce stress. It will help you cultivate a great sense of self-respect and self-worth. Nobody can set your boundaries for you. Only you can set those healthy boundaries for yourself. As we keep going deeper into this topic, I need you to know that boundaries are like invisible lines. They define where we start and where we end, or where we end and where others begin. No matter how you look at it, they had to do with our physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, intellectual life. Every part of our lives, your work life, every part of your life deserve boundaries. If you do not set those boundaries, then you probably run out of control and people will abuse opportunities in your life. Boundaries, healthy boundaries, I have to put that healthy boundaries there. Healthy boundaries, they are like support for you it helps you to interact with the world around you. It speaks to your needs and to your expectations of others. Just a few examples of what healthy boundaries might look like. Saying no and accepting when others say no to you. Valuing your personal boundaries and not compromising them for someone else. You knowing when you are who you are and what you want. Know who you are and what you want and communicating that same thing to others. Not letting others define you or your sense of worth. Those are healthy boundaries. There's examples of healthy boundaries. Another example is knowing that your needs and your feelings are just as important as the needs and the feelings of others. So you don't need to underplay yours to accommodate another person. Another example of a healthy boundary is knowing that you have the right to your emotions and feelings. You have the right to feel the way you feel. To your emotions, you have the right. Those are healthy boundaries. Don't let anybody tell you don't. You have it. Also, another example is respecting others their value system, their beliefs, their opinions. Have respect for that. And while you are at it, you know that you do not have to compromise your own values, your own beliefs, your own opinions, your faith for anybody. Respect, and that's how you feel about it. Good. Respect their opinion. Do not in any way compromise yours to accommodate theirs. Your value, your belief, your faith, your opinions, they matter. That's a healthy boundary. Before I go further, it's good to address what is an unhealthy boundary. Now that I feel we have a good understanding of what healthy boundary looks like, it's good to address what is an unhealthy boundary. Unhealthy boundaries involve a disregard for your own and other values, other people's values and wants and needs and limits. When you disregard all that, unhealthy boundaries can lead to potential abuse. It can lead to potential abuse in relationships, in your workplace, in life. It may increase the chances of other types of abusive relationships as well. For example, let me just quickly give an example of what an unhealthy boundary may look like. Like I said, touching people without their permission that's unhealthy. Engaging in even sexual activity without clear consent from that other person, that's an unhealthy boundary. Feeling like you are responsible for fixing or saving others, no, that's unhealthy. Feeling like you're responsible for other people's feelings and or happiness, no, you're not. That's unhealthy. Not saying no when you know the answer is no, and not accepting when others say no is unhealthy. Let's keep it moving. I would like to add here that if you're a people pleaser, is quite not such an easy thing to do, to set healthy boundaries. It can be challenging, but however, when you learn to set them and maintain healthy boundaries, you will experience such tremendous positive shift and growth in your life. So even though they are challenging, as a people pleaser that you are, they are not impossible. You actually need it to be able to be more impactful. Even as believers, as Christians, we find there are scriptures to back up what I'm saying. In Proverbs 4:23 said, above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. This particular verse reminds me of the importance of protecting my emotions and my desires and my values. So setting emotion boundaries, for example, will help you guard your heart. It will help you ensure that you invest your energy and emotions in relationships and situations that align with your faith and your purpose. Another scripture I can give to back that up is Matthew 5:37. So let your yes be yes and your no be no. This verse encourages me to be truthful and clear in my communication. When I set my healthy boundaries from this scripture, I am encouraged to express my needs and my limitations honestly, directly, without fear of judgment or conflict. Yes, it is possible. No, it is not possible. The scripture backs that up. So, having said that, how do we practically being the underlying word, set these boundaries, these healthy boundaries in our lives? Number one, I'll start with self-reflection. Examine your needs, your values, your limitations. Understand what feels comfortable and uncomfortable to you. Reflect on your past experiences where boundaries were crossed. How did it affect you? This self-reflection will make you self-aware, and it will help you to determine the areas where you need to establish boundaries. And you can even seek God's wisdom on this to help you identify your needs, your values, and your limitations. That will help you to set healthy boundaries going forward. Another point to take home is we need to learn to communicate clearly our needs and our desires, our limitations. Express it with clarity and assertiveness. You can practice using I statements to communicate your boundaries effectively. For example, instead of saying, "You always interrupt me," try saying, "I would appreciate it if you could let me finish speaking before sharing your thoughts." That is a healthy boundary you're setting right there. You're not being toxic, you're not fighting, you're appropriately and clearly communicating your boundary. Communicate your boundaries with love, with grace, with respect, and be very firm about it. That takes me to number 3 point. Be firm and consistent. To set healthy boundaries, you must be consistent. Consistency is needed because it's important to stand firm in your boundaries. Don't waver when others push against them. Remember, you have the right to prioritize your well-being. See, I've even noticed that even in organizations, for example, in a company, there are policies and procedures. There are people who will test whether that policy or procedure works. They want to push against it to see if it works. And such is life. When you set your boundaries, people will test it. They will push against it to know if you will stand. You need to stand firm in your boundaries because you need it for your well-being. Your mental health is important to us, to me, and to the whole world. So you need to be very firm and consistent. Don't shift like shifting shadows. Be firm. Another point is practice self-care. I think if you listen to me, you know I bring this up all the time. Self-care. Take care of yourself. Taking care of yourself is so crucial. This is possible when you set healthy boundaries. Make self-care a priority and just ensure you are attending to your physical, emotional, and mental needs. Prioritize self-care so that you will have strength and the capacity to enforce your boundaries. Take care of yourself. This is very important. I probably should have made it number 1. Learn to say no. Saying no is actually a very powerful tool in setting boundaries. So I know friends that don't know how to say no. I know there's a guy that was trying to date me. As my friend already, he can't say no, and that worried me. And in fact, that was a turn off for me. Learn to say no when it's needed, when it is required. We need to start practicing to say no to requests or situations that don't align with our values or our personal boundaries. Saying no doesn't mean you're selfish. It's an act of self-care to say no to those things that do not align with your boundaries. When you set those boundaries, you know them. And when those people try to test it, say no. Saying no is another level, a practical way of setting boundaries. Say no. It's okay to say no. You see that thing that person is asking you to do and is not aligning with your values, say no. Don't fall for it. If you fall once, you will fall again. And now to one of my favorite points, seek support. Seek support. Make sure you surround yourself with supportive individuals, people that respect your boundaries. Share your journey with your trusted friends or family, or even seek counseling if you think this boundary thing is becoming a problem. Be accountable to somebody, that you will share these boundaries with, and they will help you navigate this process because you need it. Having a strong support system can make setting and maintaining boundaries easier because you are accountable to somebody now. So you know that you need to be, the person will help you, support you, navigate the process of this setting and maintaining boundaries. Having said all this, I will do you injustice if I don't say this. Remember that setting healthy boundaries is a continuous process. It's not something you set and then that's it for life. No, it's continuous. You have to keep looking back at your boundaries and making sure they align properly. It takes time, practice. It requires self-reflection. It requires prayers. It requires reliance on God's guidance. As we navigate this journey, be patient and compassionate with yourself. Each step you take towards setting healthier boundaries brings you closer to a more fulfilling and balanced life. So, as we honor our boundaries and honor ourselves, we create space for us to grow and bloom and blossom and be the best we can be, and be the best friends we can be to our friends, and be the best family member we can be, and be the best person we can be to our world. So this wraps up today's episode of Setting Healthy Boundaries. I hope you found these insights and tips helpful in your quest, on your search for healthy boundaries. If you have any questions or topics you would like me to cover in future episodes, please reach out to me on my social media or through my email. My social media is @vibeswithjojolicious on Instagram. And then if you want to send me an email, you can also email me at vibeswithjojoliciouspodcast@gmail.com. So thank you so much for joining me, and may the wisdom and the love of God empower you as you embrace and establish healthy boundaries. When we set these boundaries, we create space for growth and we allow ourselves to have authentic connections. Until next time, take care of yourself, stay boundary strong, and I'll talk to you again next week.